Please stop what you're doing. Listen, please. The scariest scam just happened to us. I'm still very shaken. It didn't even happen to me. Please send this to your parents. If you have older parents, if you have older grandparents, please send this to them or let them know that this is happening, okay? So about half an hour ago, my husband got a call from my phone number. It had my picture, it had my name, everything about it. It was my number. It was like a regular call. He didn't even think anything of it, answered the phone. On the other line was a guy saying he was holding me hostage and was going to shoot me if my husband did not transfer him money through Zelle. My husband immediately started texting our good friend that's in the FBI, and that guy instructed him to keep the guy on the phone and try to have that guy put me on the phone. Like, if he really had me, put me on the phone. So Josh my husband is keeping him on the phone, trying to tell him to put me on the phone. In the meantime, he's also tracking my phone. Well, I happen to be at the hospital because my son had a doctor's appointment. So our FBI friend leaves work and is headed to me to make sure everything's okay. Josh was able to drag this phone call out for 5 minutes, and in the meantime, this guy's asking for, he's getting hostile, and he's asking for the money via Zelle. My husband's like, I don't know what Zelle is. Do you have Venmo? Because he's just like trying to prolong the conversation. He's like, I really need to talk to her. I need to make sure she's okay. After about 5 minutes of this, he still wouldn't put me on the phone, obviously, because I wasn't there. So Josh, my husband, hung up and called me right back, and I answered, and he was like freaking out, right? Anyways, the scariest part of all this is that they call from your number, and they knew everybody's names. So please spread the word that this is a new scam, because it is very realistic. It is very terrifying. And I know that a lot of people would just give them account numbers to get their loved ones back. Gosh, just spread the word, please. Hopefully, if we spread it far and wide, we can squash this and it will stop being a thing.
We used to think scams were just clumsy emails from foreign princes or bad phone connections asking for gift cards, but that reality is gone. Today, the most tech-savvy, hardworking Americans are being haunted by highly organized, sophisticated operations that know exactly how to manipulate our deepest fears. They are using our own phone numbers, cloning the voices of our loved ones, and spoofing our local banks to drain life savings in a matter of seconds. It is no longer about falling for a cheap trick. It is about a total failure of digital security that leaves everyday people entirely unprotected. Let's look at what is actually happening out there right now.
Today I was the victim of phone fraud. Somebody called saying that they were from my bank, from the fraud department of my credit card, that there were fraudulent charges on my card. He verified them, asked me if I did them, and I said no, and then he said, okay, I'm gonna cancel your card right away, like, I'm gonna help you out, don't worry about it. He somehow already had access to, like, see my transactions on that card, so he went through, like, the most recent ones, and asked me, like, is this legitimate, is this legitimate? I was like, yes, like, that I know. And then he somehow got access to, I didn't give him any passwords, nothing. He, like, already had stuff. He just asked me for, like, normal verification questions. And he was somehow able to access my account, and he wiped my checking and my savings clean. I reported it to BMO fraud. And I'm going to the police station now to report it as well. Just be so careful when people call you. Please, just be careful.
Did you know there's a new banking scam? And motherfuckers tried to get me yesterday, but since I'm suspicious of everything, it didn't work. And I'm going to share it with you right now because you need to share it with all of your family and friends. They're getting good. So here's what happened. You know how your bank will send you those text messages for fraud alerts if you have a weird charge? Well, I got one yesterday. Here it is. looks exactly like the one sent from my bank. So I replied no, because I am not in Portland, Oregon. I'm in East Tennessee. I do wish we had a Target though. Bank calls me back, starts asking me all of the normal questions. They tell me they're going to stop the charge at Target, but there's also been several bill pays that were done yesterday and a few payments to random people. Then they wanted me to go into my online banking app, and this is when the red flags went up. They said that in order for me to stop payment on these random people, I would need to go into my pay a person portion of the online banking app and do a test run so they could verify my identity. I'm sorry, what? You want me to add you as a contact to my pay a person? Yeah, that's not happening. When I said absolutely not and told them that was never going to happen, the line went silent. I then hung up and called my bank directly and started asking them questions. They confirmed that this is a new scam and that if I had added them and sent them even 1 penny, their systems would have been able to link to my account and drain it. So here's the warning. If you receive a text from your bank about a fraud alert of any kind, or if anyone calls you saying that they are from your bank, hang up the phone and you call your bank directly. 99.9% of the time, the bank is never going to call you. You need to call them. And I'm putting this out there because it is so heartbreaking to me to know that there are people who will fall for this and have their money stolen. So for added measure, I updated my password and I'm now heading into the bank to get a new debit card because that card's been locked.
$106,000 was stolen from my husband and I this past weekend by an online scammer, and we will not be getting any of our money back. It is gone. So this is what happened. I got a phone call saying someone was trying to log into our account and steal our money, and they suggested changing the password. They gave him a secure link to log in, asked for the code, and yada yada. That was their access into our account. So it went from 106 to 0 in the blink of an eye. And we immediately went to the police department. We've been in contact with the FBI, but you don't get your money back when scams like this happen. And we had a pretty rough weekend. We cried it out. We did all the things. I'm not going to get on this app and cry, but essentially, after a bad weekend, this is where we've landed. I know God is always going to provide for us. We have hit our knees in prayer, and I fully believe we are going to be just fine. God never promised that bad things won't happen to good people. Everyone's going to go through trials, but He did promise He will be there with us through the storm. And that is exactly how I feel now. That account was, not going to make or break our life. We are very blessed to have a roof over our head. We have secure jobs. Our children are healthy and safe. But that account was an investment in our future. It was going to help us pay for college or retirement, whatever we wanted it to be. But it was a luxury, not a necessity. We will be okay. But at the same time, it was a luxury that was only available because of my husband's hard work. He worked for years to build that account, and we have a newborn. She's a month old, and Matt has been putting in 12, 14-hour days at work every day to provide for us because he is such a hard worker. He works his ass off to provide for us. And yeah, the sleep deprivation got to him. He got a phone call in the middle of a nap. When you wake up from a nap and you're like, what time is it? What planet am I on? And that's what happened. The scammers took advantage of that. And if it was any other day, probably would have never fell for that. He knows better, but it was just the perfect storm of he was exhausted and didn't know what was going on and just trusted the phone call. And here we are.
A new scam that's going around that you need to be aware of, and it's a good one. One that would have gotten me, one of my family members, or even one of my loved ones. You're gonna get a package delivered to your home. It may be a box, it may be a padded envelope. It will be addressed to you with your information on it, and it may or may not have a sender address on it. Cool, somebody has sent me something. You open up the package. Inside is a QR code that you need to scan to find out what your gift is. The instant that you scan it, you have handed over every single piece of information you have on your phone. And I mean everything. We're talking about your passwords, your text messages, your photographs, your emails, your banking information, everything, including access to your cloud and local devices. And time may pass and you may think, oh, they didn't get me. I scanned the QR code, but I'm totally fine. Nothing happened. They may literally just be sitting on the access or monitoring your activity. These scammers are becoming incredibly clever and finding so many different ways to access your information. And don't put your head in the sand. Don't think, oh, this could never happen to me, because it's literally happening to people every single day.
Y'all, the scammers are getting smarter. I placed an order from DoorDash for lunch today, and as I was waiting for it, I got a call from who caller ID said was DoorDash order. So I answered, because sometimes I get calls when like my order is canceled or something like that. So answer it, and it says it's somebody from support, and my order has been canceled, but they're trying to reactivate it for me, and they just need some information. And I was like, well, I need to go. Like, I can't wait for this to be done. And this person would not take no for an answer. They're like, no, I'll just do it. And I was like, okay, whatever, fine. I got annoyed. So he asked for my email address. I actually gave him my husband's, which is on the account. And he was typing it in. I heard him, and I was like, wait a second, shouldn't you have my email address? So I said, hold on. He was asking me about my phone number at that time, and I was like, this sounds like a scam. Like, what's going on? And this guy hung up on me. So I reached out to DoorDash support. Come to find out, they didn't call me. So this was a scammer that somehow knew that I ordered. So keep your eyes out, y'all. The scammers are getting smart.
Scammers are pulling a new trick. I've just learned they're now sending fake voicemail notifications that look like they're from your doctor, your pharmacy, your kid's school, even your bank. The message shows up as an email saying you have a new voicemail. There's a link or an attachment to listen to it. If you click it, you're installing malware and spyware, or you're taken to a fake login page where scammers steal your passwords, your social security number, everything. They create urgency in the subject line. That's key here. It says important voicemail or missed call alert, or I saw one that said voicemail from your doctor's office, and it works. We act fast when we think we missed something important. It's science, it's psychology. Don't fall for it. Never click on any email saying it's a voicemail. If you accidentally click on it, it happens. Turn on multi-factor authentication immediately, so even if they get your password, you're still pinged. If they try to access it, they can't get in.
Scam alert, everybody. There is a new scam that you need to be aware of, and it's very clever and lots of people are falling foul of it. It is called the CAPTCHA scam. People are falling foul of it when they complete a CAPTCHA test, but it's actually a fake CAPTCHA. If you don't know what a CAPTCHA is, you might be familiar with this. This is a CAPTCHA test that you'll often see on a website. It helps to determine whether an online user is a human or a bot. I've certainly completed a lot of these in my time, and I'm sure you probably have too. But in the fake CAPTCHA test that is going around, the CAPTCHA will ask you to complete a certain set of instructions, such as pressing keys in a particular order. If you do complete these commands, then malicious software can then be downloaded onto your phone, otherwise known as malware. This can then be used by hackers to steal your data and your money. So be sure to be on high alert every time you see one of these CAPTCHAs, and never complete a set of commands or instructions such as pressing particular keys on your phone. As a reminder, this is what a genuine CAPTCHA looks like. This is what one of the scam versions could look like.
Prefacing this video by saying that this is not my usual content. However, I feel compelled to hop on and share a PSA about a really horrifying scam that is going around right now, and that actually happened to my family in the middle of the night last night. I have seen a few people talking about this like on Instagram and on Facebook and in a couple of like Facebook groups that I'm in, but it's one of those things that you see it and you're like, dang, that's crazy, but you never really think that it could happen to you. Around 3:30 this morning, while we were all sleeping, my brother and I both received a call from my mother's phone. It was her contact number, it was her contact photo, it was even like what was named in our separate phones for her. So in my phone, she is Mama, and in my brother's phone, she is Mom, and it came up like as her contact in both of our phones when we were both called. And for context, I live about 30 minutes out from Atlanta. My brother lives in Atlanta, and my parents live also in the same town as me, like 15 minutes away, so we were all at separate households. I received the call first, but I did not answer because I didn't hear it. It was 3:30 in the morning. I had my phone on vibrate. I didn't hear it go off. My brother happened to have his phone on loud. He received the call second, and he did answer because he heard it ringing and he thought something was wrong. When he answered the phone, he immediately heard what sounded like my mom, a woman's voice that sounded just like her, just crying hysterically and screaming. And so he obviously like freaked out and was like, Mom, what's wrong? Like, is there something wrong with Dad? Like, what's going on? And then before like she could say anything, a man came on the phone and said, I'm going to kill this bitch if you don't wire me $2,500. This man is like yelling over the phone, super aggressively, like demanding money, like saying he's going to murder my mother if he does not get money. The older brother is very level-headed, but at this point he's obviously like freaking out. He had not heard of this scam before. I had heard of it before, but even if I had gotten that call, I probably still would have lost my shit because I'm not as level-headed in high pressure situations like that. I probably would have been freaking out, but even he was freaking out. But he had his work phone on him. So he was on his like normal personal phone, and on his work phone, he immediately opened up Life 360, which if you do not have Life 360 for your family and your entire family on there, highly recommend it. It is such a good resource just to keep tabs on where everyone is and making sure everybody is safe if there's any situation like this or any situation just in general, car accidents, anything like that. Life 360 is a lifesaver. So he opened up his Life 360 and he saw that both my parents were seemingly at home, which obviously doesn't mean that they're out of danger. It just means that he had eyes on them. He knew where they were. So once he knew that they were both there, he starts trying to call my dad's phone from his work phone while he's on the phone with this guy. And my dad's not answering because, again, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, I didn't hear my phone ring. Nobody's hearing their phone ring. So he's calling me, he's calling my dad, and he's trying to get a hold of somebody to, like, figure this out. After a little bit, he's not like totally convinced that there's no danger involved, but he is starting to see like red flags. Like he hears a baby crying in the background all of a sudden, which my parents don't have a baby. There shouldn't be a baby. There's no reason there would be a baby with them. And so he's thinking, okay, I know they're at their house, so this is weird. Why is there a baby? And then he also realizes that this man has not mentioned my dad at all, which you would think that he would say, I have your parents, or I've done something to your dad, and now I have your mom, or whatever. So he has not mentioned my dad at all. He's seemingly calling from my mom's phone, so he knows that my mom has her phone, and he also knows that they are at home together. So at this point, he decides to hang up. He hangs up the phone because he's like, this is weird. I don't think this is legit. So he hangs up the phone and he calls 911, and they confirmed that basically like this is a scam that is going around. They're aware of it, but they're going to send a car to the house just to drive by and see if everything's okay. So at this point, my brother feels a little bit relieved, but he gets in the car to drive towards my parents' house anyway because my mom and dad are still not answering their phone. He gets about a quarter of the way there, and then at that point, my mom finally answers her phone, and she's been asleep this whole time, and everything is totally fine, which is such a relief. We were lucky enough to have not lost any money in it. Everything was fine. My parents were fine. The whole family was fine. But is that not the craziest thing you've ever heard? I am so shook by it. It is such a traumatic way to scam somebody. Like, horrifying. Like, not only like they ask for $2,500, which in the grand scheme of things is not that much money, and that's why they do it. I looked it up and I did a little bit of research on it, and apparently they ask for that amount of money because it's an amount of money that most people could give up if they felt like a family member was in danger, but it's, you know, it's just enough for the predator to get some money, but it's not so much that it would be hard for, you know, the general population to obtain or flagged by a bank, et cetera, et cetera. But it's also just crazy that they do it in the middle of the night, or at least they did for us, because they do it at a time that, like, number one, you're disoriented and like vulnerable. And number two, like, you're not able to get a hold of anybody that like to confirm that this is happening or not happening. And so it is just like, it's so low and traumatic for anybody to receive a call like that. And I just feel like everybody needs to know about it. And again, I feel like it has been circulating on like social media, so a lot of people might already know about this, but if you don't, you need to. So anyway, I wanted to hop on and talk about it to hopefully save somebody just the mental anguish of receiving a call like this out of the blue. At least maybe now you'll have seen this video and you'll have at least some peace of mind, or just like an inkling that it could be not true. Share this with your friends, spread the word, because this is just the most predatory, low thing ever.
What we are watching here isn't just a string of bad luck, it is a highly coordinated assault on the American middle class. People are working 50-60 hours a week to build a little bit of security, only to have their checking and savings accounts wiped clean by phantom callers pretending to be Wells Fargo, Chase, or DoorDash. The platforms we rely on, like Zelle, Venmo, and our own cellular networks, are being weaponized against us. And when the money is gone, the banks and the authorities simply shrug their shoulders. The working class is carrying all the risk. We are navigating a digital minefield every time our phone rings, and the guardrails that are supposed to protect consumers simply do not exist. Have you or anyone in your family been targeted by one of these new, highly personalized phone or banking scams? Tell us how it happened in the comments below so we can all stay one step ahead of this. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.